Good evening, SMA, and welcome to round 6 of the Motorsport South Africa Cup 2025. Points tallies have been totaled up and the drivers have been sorted into their respective tiers as we enter the second phase of the season, as tiers are now on full lockdown. I am your main host, Flawed Genius Gaming, taking you through this classic encounter where failure is no longer an option. Every position counts, with honours at stake from this point forward. With greatness there comes responsibility, and thankfully I have the perfect co-commentator to keep me grounded. Please give the warmest of welcomes to the awesome YouTuber and racer known as McNaughty Gaming. Good evening and welcome to the MSA Cup. Delighted to have you alongside me, and how are you today?
Hey Flawed, I'm doing well, hope you are too. It's an honor to be in the booth with a consummate pro such as yourself. Thank you to the folks at SMA for giving me this opportunity. And let me be the first to say that I can't wait to see what the drivers have in store for us.
Yeah, it's great to have you on board, McNaughty, of course, making his debut in the SMA. And so before we get into the race details, it's important to shout out our sponsors for this season, as without their support, none of this would be possible. So the MSA Cup 2025 is sponsored by TGSC Cape Town Golf Academy, the hotbed of nurturing young potential to golfing greatness, an academy with a breadth of history for producing talent on the world stage. If you feel you have what it takes to become South Africa's next global star, TGSC is the place to be. We are also sponsored by simulatorcave.com, South Africa's haven for all your sim racing equipment, selling only the highest recommended products from the likes of Fanatec and Moza, as well as racing cockpits for that perfect driving experience. Please contact JP for all his helpful and friendly advice, and if you're still not convinced, book yourself a tour of the shop and test drive many of their sim rigs available so you get the full sim experience, leaving behind any doubts. Link is in the description below. And thank you so much to our official sponsors for the 2025 season of the MSA Cup. We are also in association with Motorsport South Africa, the only place for official GT7 leagues on behalf of South Africa, and Sim Motorsport Association, growing the sport together. Please contact Robin Williams and our please contact Robin Williams, our MSA GT7 promoter, for further details. Email links will be in the description below and on our YouTube homepage. Okay, so let's take a recap on today and the rest of the season in the MSA Cup 2025. So we are at the halfway stage of this season's championship, where today sees us back in Europe for the beautiful sunny resort off the coast of Croatia. But don't get too comfortable in that sun, as this place hosts one of the most challenging chicanes of all track rosters. We are at Dragon Trail Seaside for our new Group 3 one-make race coming up in a few moments' time. But next week we are over to Japan for one time only, as we visit the Super GT haven of Autopolis. Then for round 8, it's back to Europe for the final time as we head to Spielberg, Austria for the visit of the Red Bull Ring on the 28th of July. This then follows a short journey east across to neighbouring Italy for the Cathedral of Speed. Yes, that is right, we are in Monza, which then brings us to the grand finale of the MSA Cup for the second of our special events, where we head to France for Le Mans. Cars still to be decided, but will be held on August the 11th, which will declare our new champion for 2025 in the MSA Cup. So that is the roadmap for this season, but McNaughty, please explain to us the details for tonight's race.
Thank you, Flawed. So, straight out of the imagination of the Polyphony Digital developers, we make a visit to Croatia for some intense racing at Dragon Trail. The Seaside layout runs in a clockwise orientation, 17 corners, 7 to the left, 10 to the right, but don't let the simple triangle shape fool you. GT7 veterans know that this track has it all. Long straights to slipstream past your opponents, sharp downhill braking zones that'll have your front left tire screaming, and most notably of all, the tight left-right complex in Sector 3, more affectionately known as the Death Chicane or Chicken, for its reputation for ending races in an instant. Drivers will need to make sure they save up enough grip to make it through safely and keep enough momentum to get a good run to the final corner. You might be thinking, how many times do they need to successfully navigate that chicane? And the answer is 30 laps, but not before setting the grid after a 10-minute qualifier, where drivers will be using that racing soft tire to achieve optimal one-lap pace. Tire wear for both qualifying and the race is set to 4 times. Fuel consumption set to 3. So while that soft might be used universally for qualifying, it might just be shelved afterwards. Hard tires are mandatory during the race, and with an initial fuel load of 70% and a refuel rate of 7 liters per second, race strategy will be key to getting to the checkered flag first. Okay, so track, check. Race settings, check. What exactly are they trying to get to that checkered flag in? Oh boy, Godzilla has left Tokyo, and with that twin turbocharged 3.8 liter V6 engine, it's traveled all the way to Croatia. One of the most popular Group 3 cars in Gran Turismo's BOP, the 2018 version of the GTR, is known for its good balance between tires, fuel, and handling, with really only one downside: a lack of 6-gear power. Despite good stats across the board, drivers will need to be at one with this car and have trust in it, as well as their fellow nearby driver, to make it past turn 16 safely. So, with the race details confirmed, Flawed, talk us through the results of last round.
Thank you, McNulty. Yes, the story of round 5 of the MSA Cup is as follows. And of course, they were driving the Volkswagen IDR 19 car, which is the electric car, of course. So here are the scenes of the race start then. It was Levitius and JDJ who started P1 and P2. JDJ had the inside line for turn 2, which showed Levitius the outside line that turns in to the inside line for turn number 4. And Levitius times his braking to perfection to move back up into the race lead and lead from the front. Now on lap 1 for the corkscrew, we're riding on board with Potato. Now it was JDJ challenging Levitius, runs a little bit deep and runs Levitius out wide. JDJ didn't get the best of exits, and there was Potato around the outside to take P2 away from him moving down to P3 and Chaz in P4, and then look behind, Neil up the inside of TNR Lightning Lorry, and as they come into the final corner, there was Rusty with a late lunge to move up into P6 and demote TNR Lightning Lorry to P7. So lap 10, turn 2, and it was VSR Richard who tried to make a move on Puma Racing Fred with a move downtown and actually making contact with Fred, pushing him slightly deep, but Richard takes the position to move up into P8. On lap 11 for the corkscrew then, TNR Chaz and JDJ were battling tooth and nail for every corner, but then it came down to the corkscrew as JDJ went to challenge Chaz. Chaz went a little bit deep going into the corkscrew, and there was JDJ to sweep up and move up into P3. Then on lap 15, same corner, the corkscrew. This is where things turned for the worst for MGR Rusty as he went massively deep into the corkscrew. Didn't get a good run out of the corner. There was VSR Richard around the outside to move up into P7. Then on the same lap at the last turn, MGR Rusty went a little bit deep, and the old switcheroo was performed from VSR Giller to move up into P8. turns 6, 7 and 8 on lap 16. MGR Rusty didn't get the best of entries or exits and ran very slow, and unfortunately got hit by Fred. As a result, Rusty moved down a position, but then he went way too deep as he got dirty tyres and caused a bit of a domino effect as the 4 cars squabbled for position. And then also as well on the same lap, I do believe, it was an incident between Neil and Richard, as Richard hit Neil wide and Neil struggled to keep control of the car and spun out as a result. That was lap 16 at the Rainy Curve, and lost about 5 positions there. Then we get to lap 20 at turn 3, and a big battle brewing up between Chaz and JDJ. Unfortunately, JDJ ran into the back of Chaz, pushing him into the kitty litter, and Chaz, as a result, lost the position to P4. On lap number 21, it was Levitius and Panic Potato who was able to extend their lead against the rest of the grid, and Levitius took a penalty and Panic Potato was challenging for the race lead, but Levitius just got on the anchors in time to hold off Panic Potato for the race lead. And there is Levitius there coming around the final corner. He grabs his 3rd race victory of the season to finish first position in round 5 at Laguna Seca, with P2 going to Potato and P3 JDJ and Chaz getting P4. VSR Richard came home in P5, and it was Giller who managed to get P6 up 6 positions from his 12th position originally. It was TNR Lawrence in P8 and Fred in P9, with Neil coming home in 10th position. In 11th field was Nitro Merlin ahead of MGR Rusty, who had not the best of times in this race, but was able to finish in 12th. And the reason for that is because as Quintanell finished in 13th in his debut for Tier 1, it was because TNR Latari ran out of battery with a lap to go and was trickling over the line. But how does that affect things for Tier 1 in the points? So TNR Levitius then is now confirmed on top of the pole, leading VSR Richard by a mere 3 points as things start to really hot up. VSR JDJ would be closer had he not been awarded with additional penalties from the last round. He still occupies a 3rd position though. 10 points in front of TNR Papaya Racer in 4th. Also 10 points in front of teammate I've done that wrong. It was TNR Papaya Racer in 4th. Also 10 points in front of teammate Panic Potato, who rises up to 5th. 8 points in front of VSR Wolfie, who holds 6th position. And just a point behind is teammate Fish in 7th position. He's also 10 points in front of Puma's Nil, who occupies 8th, and then just 2 points in front of VSR Giller, who holds 9th. MGR Kennels has that top 10 position. Then in 11th we have VSR Nitro Merlin, with TNR Latari just 7 points behind in 12th, and 14-year-old sensation Puma Nutcap back in Tier 1 after being in the lower tiers for a couple of races. He holds 13th position, with TNR Lightning Lorry having that last place in Tier 1. And as we've mentioned before, tiers are now on lockdown, so this will be your lineup for the rest of the season in Tier 1. But before the lights go green, before the engines roar, there are moments that remind us how human this racing community truly is. Today we pause not to talk lap times or podiums, but to stand with 3 of our own. The 2 team members of MGR, Rusty and Dino, and Puma Racing GTR, who remind us the racing spirit endures. This lap is a tribute to their loved ones, led by MGR's very own MGR Kennels. We'll be back in a few moments' time. Okay. Okay, so we are just awaiting the drivers to be readied up. What is a very, very special occasion here in the SMA for this MSA Cup Round 6 at Dragon Trail Seaside. Now, so basically we have got MGR Kennels, who's going to be leading a tribute lap for remembering loved ones that sadly passed away quite recently. So whilst we wait for that, we have got actually a few words on behalf of the drivers, and let me take you through that right now. Unless we've got Kennels right now on track, let's quickly have a look. Okay. There is Kennels. So you may have recognised as Kennels hits the wall there. So many of the drivers and teams out there have provided us special liveries to honour those loved ones that we cherish. And yeah, Kennels is going to lead us away in a minute's time. But let me take you through a few words from some of the drivers. So a few words on behalf of MGR Dino. Sheila wasn't just a Formula One fan, she was a true enthusiast, a walking encyclopedia of racing stats and stories. From pole positions to fastest laps, Sheila kept meticulous notes, capturing every thrilling moment in her notebooks with care and precision. For her, racing wasn't just a sport, it was a passion, a way of life, and a source of endless joy. Sheila's passion reminds us to pursue what we love without hesitation, to pay attention to the details that matter, and to always keeping pushing forward, lap after lap, no matter the track. Which very, very beautiful words there for sure. We've also got words from in fact that was MGR Dino, wasn't it? I do apologise. We have also got words from MGR Rusty, so let's take a look at these. Oh, Gilla is going to start the lap. Okay, 1 second. So okay, so the drivers. Right, okay. this is not how it was supposed to go, but okay. So we have VSR Richard leading from the front. As you can see, every driver that you see has a special tribute livery associated with our dearly departed. So as
Flawed, we can see that they're currently being led by a safety car. So they're going to order themselves for a procession here. You can see many of the liveries are supporting decals in support of those we lost in the community. A lot of drivers are using an all black or a majority black livery, as you can see here with Kennels. Kennels is in the in Richards, excuse me, with Richards livery. They're the names of those we lost recently to those drivers participating in the league and who are members of the community.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, very, very emotional scenes here, but something that we are cherishing, something that we are celebrating, the lives of those that dearly matter to Dino, to Rusty, of course, part of MGR, and Puma Racing GTR as well, as we take you through the grid now. So Okay.
Right, and you know, even in occasions like this, right? You know, loss is real. You know, it's we all go through grieving. We all react in our own way, and you know what's important is finding a way to support each other, right? And even in a game like Gran Turismo 7 and a sim racing league like this, you know, there's always something that you can do. So you know, it's hats off to everyone in the community, to the folks at SMA for setting up a tribute like this, because you know, to the outside looking in, it may look like a small thing, but I'm sure that Rusty and Dino really appreciate the fact that, you know, in our own little way, we're trying to show support for our brothers and sisters out here.
Yes, indeed. And yeah, just a couple of more words that I've got as well. This was from Puma Racing GTR. So Rachel Cupido was a devoted mother, a beloved member of the Ramirez and Williams families, and a woman whose kindness and strength left a lasting impression on everyone she met. Rachel was deeply cherished by her loved ones. So today we remember the beauty of her life, and we carry forward her legacy with love, gratitude and honor. Okay. And also as well, it wouldn't be fair if we didn't have the tribute of words for Julius as well, as we do wait for Gila to set up the quali screen. I thought we was going to remain in practice, to be honest, but okay. But once we get into qualifying, I will run the last few words that does need to be said. Okay, as qualifying does get underway now. So, but yeah, very important, these words. So we are going to cut to the qualifying screen. Okay. And let me just briefly talk about MGR Rusty's father here. Some very emotional words here. But today we celebrate the life of Julius Adams, affectionately nicknamed Tiger. He was a devoted father, the kind who stood as both shield and shelter. His love for his family was unwavering. He was a protector, a provider, and the steady heartbeat at the center of it all. Behind his tough exterior was a heart of gold, compassion, generosity, and deep kindness. Tiger's legacy lives on in every story told, every lesson remembered, and every act of love passed down through his family. Your roar may have quieted, but your love echoes on. So, some very, very heartfelt words there, and yeah, definitely a time to reflect and reminisce and cherish all the good times with your loved ones, and think about how it shaped you to be the person that you are today. As a member of the SMA community, let's unite as one and be supportive for one another as we watch on with all the cars that we see out on a circuit, and let's show that respect between ourselves, and really thank the time and effort that the drivers have done to put together these beautiful liveries in respect of our dearly departed. But yeah, McNulty, we are in this 10-minute qualifying session now, and yeah, I mean, obviously this is all new to you here, but something that's definitely not new to you is this circuit, Dragon Trail Seaside. I mean, it's got to be one of the most iconic circuits in the whole Gran Turismo roster, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know, a mainstay and fan favorite of many Gran Turismo 7 drivers. This track can make dreams come true, or they can very quickly turn them into nightmares. As we, see Gilla go here into the end of Sector 2, starting Sector 3. This is what I'm talking about right here. These next two corners, right? You have a good lap so far. Tires are fresh. You're coming out of the pits. And then boom, a left and then a quick right. And you're just hoping that you don't crash on that wall. And Gilla does a good job to not crash to the wall there. And a little bit of a sigh of relief. One corner to go before making your way up the start-finish straight. But yeah, plenty of overtaking opportunities. Plenty of sectors to ace, to gain time on your rival drivers as he crosses the line and is immediately usurped by Levidius and JDJ. But yeah, we're gonna see a lot of overtaking opportunities. Hopefully, not too many crashes. And you can see these soft tires are already burning up, Flawed.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, VSR Richard on pole position at the moment with the fastest lap time of a 1:37.424. Now that is pretty fast, but I do wonder whether or not there'll be any drivers that will be able to get into that 1:36 range. We are 4 minutes down into this 10-minute qualifying session, and so still a long time to go. I do imagine that a lot of the drivers will dive into the pits to change onto new boots, and maybe we'll see that happen. But yeah, Richard at the moment has half a tenth lead over Levitius, who currently finds himself in second position, and then a quarter of a tenth down from Levitius's time is Panic Potato in P3, who is definitely continuing on this fine form he's showed so far in the MSA Cup. Kennels finds himself in P4 at the moment, just over 3 tenths down on pole sitter VSR Richard with a 1:37.7. Then we got VSR JDJ in 5th place, just beneath that 1:38 range, as it does look like a lot of the drivers are coming into the pits. But yeah, we've got VSR Gilla P6, Puma Racing Neil P7, VSR Wolfie, of course, back in Tier 1 for today. He's in 8th position with Chaz down into P9 at the moment. Now that is a bit of a shock. We have got VSR Nitro Merlin occupying that top 10 position, and Lightning Lorry in 11th with Fish in P12, Latari Racing in P13. I do believe we are missing one driver, and I do believe that is Puma Nutcap. So I do wonder whether or not he's just running a little bit late. Maybe he lost connection. I'm not 100% sure, but strange not to see him in this qualifying session. But in terms of times though, Manulti, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting because we have quite the fuel burning and tire wear multiplier. One thing that I noticed is that a lot of drivers went into the pits after running one qualifying lap. Gilla actually decided to reset to the pits. So while you have the advantage of running 2 straight qualifying laps, everyone else has a 20-liter fuel advantage after coming out of the pits. So we're going to see if that actually plays into it significantly as this qualifying carries on.
Yes, indeed we do. And we still got 3.5 minutes to go here. Most of the drivers are on their out lap, so I am expecting them to really push on the next lap here, and I do feel like there will be a changing in hands in terms of positions here, because we know as drivers, Manulti, that Dragon Trail probably one of the favourites amongst most of the drivers. So I am anticipating some very, very fast times. Now, one in particular is Levitius down into P3 at the moment with VSR Richard and Panic Potato just in front at the minute. So Levitius will be trying to pull this one out of the bag, as VSR Richard and Panic Potato have been released out of the pit lane, so they will be just about able to get one more lap in before the end of qualifying. But yeah, we do need to stay on board with some of the drivers here. So have we got anyone towards the line? I think it might be Giller who's the nearest towards the line, because Nitro Merlin is just about to come onto his hot lap. So yeah, it will be Giller that will be the first one to come across the line here. But yeah, I mean, definitely I think Minolti, the all important part of this circuit is definitely the chicane, right?
Yes. You know, I mentioned that, you know, you could crash or not crash there, but, you know, having confidence coming out of there as Gilla stays flat on soft tires, you know, you're definitely going to want to keep that momentum going into this corner. However, we did see that Gilla was a 10th down going into sector 3, so that fuel might be playing, you know, a part in all of that. I didn't quite see where Levy was in comparison, but he's going to be, oh, it looks like he stopped and pulled over for Viz to make his way through. So Viz is coming up the final straight now, currently in 5th.
Well, JDJ's just come across the line now. He does improve by 2.5 tenths to 4th position. And at the moment, oh, Puma Neil went a little bit quicker, but I do believe he will remain in 10th position. Let's have a look on Levitius. Whereabouts is he? So he hasn't improved yet. So that is a bit of a shock. Levitius in 3rd position, current fastest 1 minute 37.4. This will definitely be the last lap. There is a 30-second cooldown after the allotted 10-minute qualifying, so you just about should get this lap in. I think it's going to be very tight actually, as Nitro Merlin does improve to a 38.3, which is only good enough for P10 at the moment. But of course,
Levy just went purple sector 1 by almost 2 tenths. So it's really, you just got to hook it up once, and you know, that could be the difference between pole and the bottom of the pack.
Well, we're going to stay on board with Levitius now. So he's coming up to that dreaded chicane. He is still purple through sector 2, just under half a tenth quicker than the best time through sector 2. So this will be the final lap now, as he comes up to the final corner now, as Giller improves by a couple of tenths to a 38.0. To move up into 8th position. Levitius comes around the final corner now, as Wolfie also sets his personal best with a 38 flat. Levitius, is he going to go into pole position? No, not quite. He does improve by just under 2 tenths, but remains in P. Oh, and there you go. There is qualifying done. So let's have a look on the classified qualifying results there, and it is VSR Richard who gets the pole position time with a 1 minute 37.140, which is just over half a tenth quicker than TNR Panic Potato. They will be occupying the front row. Row 2 will be Levitius in P3, who set a 1 minute 37.3, which was 3 tenths quicker than rival VSR JDJ, who will be starting alongside him in 4th position. On row 3, we've got Kennels with that 1 minute 37.7, half a tenth quicker than VSR Fish, who will be starting from P6 from row 3. Row 4, we've got Latari Racing just setting that time just beneath that 1 minute 38. He'll be joined by VSR Wolfie in P8 on row 4. On row 5, we've got Puma Racing Neil starting from P9. In fact, is that time so a thousandth separating VSR Wolfie P8 and Puma Racing Neil in P9, but Neil will be starting on row 5 with Giller joining him from 10th position. Then on row 6, we've got Chaz, which is definitely a shock to me, and he'll be starting just ahead of VSR Nitro Merlin, who starts from P12. In P13 and at the back of the grid is Lightning Lorry, with no sign of nutcap by the looks of it. So yeah, it's very, very, very tight in the qualifying pecking. But what are your thoughts on that, McNulty?
First and foremost, I have to say that I'm very impressed by Richard, VSR Richard, for getting that pole. He's looking to stop a multi-race winning streak by Levidius here. And getting that pole position is the first way to do so. Levy will surely be thinking that, you know, just got to get the strategy right and have things turn your way. You know, it's a long race ahead of us. It's also pretty interesting to see that the top 10 are all within a second of each other. And it could have been even tighter, but, you know, with only a couple hot laps over the course of the 10 minutes, you really have to nail it down. So I'm expecting that the pace is probably a little bit quicker, a little bit closer rather, than these times might show, even from P1 to P13. So.
Well, technically, it was 11 drivers within a second. So, yeah, it really just emphasizes how competitive the grid is. But we'll be back very shortly.
They started the race.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so it's going to be VSR Richard who's going to start on pole position. Right alongside him is Panic Potato as the lights go out, and away we go to start round 6 of the MSA Cup at Dragon Trail Seaside. And Richard gets a good start, but there is going to be 3 wide between VSR JDJ, Panic Potato, and Levicius. Who's going to come out on top? Looks like Levicius got the inside line. Is he going to propel himself? Oh, is there contact in the background? Let's save a replay of that. But we're going to stay on board with the front pack here as Panic Potato does hold off his teammate Levicius for P2 and P3. Then we got Fish in P4 with VSR Wolfie in P5. Kennels. Wolfie sideways. Wolfie sideways. And has it been reset? I think it's been reset because he's moved down about 6 positions down into P11 then. That was a bit of a weird moment, I have to say there, McNulty. But
yes.
Yeah,
So JDJ is a victim going into turn 3 and Latori racing into turn 4, I believe. Multiple drivers having spinouts. Quite a hectic first couple of corners all before the end of sector 1. Fortunately, though, I don't see any. Oh, there's damage on Wolfie. I'm not sure where he got that damage, but everybody else made it out of there without incurring any damage, despite the amount of contact that we saw.
Yes, so I just saw it now on the replay there. So it was Fish that actually went into the back of JDJ. We're going to get another replay on that quickly. But yeah, very, very unfortunate. Let's get on board with that replay yet again, just to show you exactly what happened there. So we're riding on board with VSR Fish, who was in P5, got late on the brakes, and then, couldn't avoid Wolfie. And Wolfie takes a spin, so yeah, definitely unlucky there. And yeah, certainly Fish didn't pick up any damage from that though, which is very, very surprising. But Wolfie, who is in, where is Wolfie? He's back into the pits, so he picks up damage, but Fish didn't. That is quite surprising. But yeah, that has definitely emphasized then his change of strategy, where he's going to have to try something different now if he is going to come back into this race. So he has changed onto the hard tires then. Looks like he's going to do a long stint on that one, McNulty.
Right. If you're going to get damage, you know, after lap 1, you know, might as well get the tire requirements out of the way. Go long, hope that something happens in your way. Both the hard and the medium tires do a good job of lasting an entire stint.
We got to move. We got to move. It's Giller on Kennels as he takes that P5 away from Kennels. Chaz just tags the back of Kennels there. Kennels very, very fortunate to keep the car moving forwards and does hold on to that 6th position, but nearly certainly a bit of a calamity there from Chaz, who nearly put Kennels perhaps into a wall, but will hold on to that P6, and Chaz into P7. Nitro Merlin into P8 with Neil just behind the P9, and Lightning Lorry up 3 positions to 10th position, with JDJ up a position now to P11 after that nightmare start, with Latari Racing holding that P12. But I do apologise for cutting in there, but yes, as you might have already noticed, the SMA, they certainly do put a show on for us, and they never let you rest.
Yeah, certainly. And, you know, I had mentioned before that, you know, a lot of drivers would be shelving the softs, but VSR Richard, who's in the lead right now, is building up a gap for himself on those same very softs. Most of the drivers are on mediums. Obviously, after Wolfie pit, he moved to hards. Neil's on hards as well, pushing Kennels along, excuse me. But yeah, we're seeing varying degrees of tire strategy here. So we'll see how long Richard can make those last.
Yes, indeed. And I have actually got a bit of a replay, because Kennels did actually make a little bit of a mistake. So did Neil as well, as JDJ takes full advantage to move up into P9. Is he going to send one on Kennels as well? On the hairpin. Oh, there's a bit of wheel-to-wheel action there, as JDJ does take that position away from Kennels to move up into P8 then. And I don't know if JDJ will give that position back or not, because it did look a little bit suspicious. Oh, as Kennels goes into the wall. Oh my god, let's save a replay on that and see exactly what happened, as I looked on board with him, but it looked like a bit of a domino effect going into the chicane there. But let's take a look on the replay from Kennels' perspective. So on the replay, going through into the chicane just behind JDJ, you really don't want to be too far, like too close to the car in front. Yeah, oh my god, and Kennels went straight into the wall, and then was Puma Racing Neil, who ploughed into the back of him, where he had literally nowhere to go. So Kennels has got front and rear aero damage, and yeah, certainly Neil will have exactly the same as well. I think, yeah, Neil has got front aero damage, but yeah, certainly a bit of a calamity there, because as mentioned, yeah, you really don't want to get too close to the car in front, because that obscures your view, and that was certainly evidence right there, Minolta.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be at one with your car. You gotta trust your car. You gotta trust the other driver who's right in front of you or right behind you. And in that case, it's just an unfortunate circumstance there.
Yes.
Puma Racing Neil is still continuing to run with front bumper damage. Despite that, I suppose he's looking to just keep his strategy intact, considering he started on the racing hard tire. But yeah,
I mean, I would imagine there's going to be a lot of different strategies on play here. And certainly something I did notice with VSR Richard with a 6-second lead over Panic Potato, and this is because he's running the soft tyre first. So Panic Potato is on the medium tyres. Now that is a strategy that I didn't think was on play here, running the softs. I did feel like the drivers were going to run the mediums and the hard tyres and lessen the amount of pit stops, but it looks like Richard is going for the aggressive strategy, and so far he's developed a 6.3 second lead over Panic Potato, who is in second position on their medium tyres. He's got a 2-second lead over Levitius in P3, with VSR Fish in P4 with front aero damage as well. So interestingly, he's also decided to stay out, knowing that the car's aero is going to be slightly affected there, and it is going to slow him down. He's got a 1.2 second lead over VSR Gilla, who currently holds himself in P5, with VSR Nitro Merlin up I think 5 positions from the initial grid start to be in 6th position, also running on the medium tyres. We've got Chaz also up I do believe 5 positions from the grid start, but he has also got front aero damage on the medium tyres, but currently running in 7th position, with JDJ for company in P8 with no damage. So his car should be a lot faster at this stage of the race. You really don't want to be too close to the cone throat because that, like I said, obscures your view, but navigated well by JDJ with a bit of a wiggle on the exit, but he will power past Chaz to move up into P7 with that overspeed, and that was evidence there where the aero or the damage to that car really does affect the aero, affect the top speed, and JDJ really taking full advantage of that as he starts to move up the grid. Of course, he was down into P12 originally at turn 2, wasn't it? So up 5 positions since then, and starting to make inroads up the grid, Manolte.
That's right. That's right. And to your point before about you know, the strategy, one thing of note in this race, you start with 70% of your fuel load. So what we'll find is that a full tank plus 70 isn't quite enough to get through the entire race. Thus, you may see some drivers opting to incorporate the softs into their strategy. From my testing, softs only lasted about eight laps or so before they completely fell off. With the intensity of racing around here, they might fall off even sooner. But I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these drivers who didn't start on the softs use it as a middle stint or a final stint, depending on how much fuel they take aboard.
Yeah, no, that could well be the case there, McNulty. You do bring up a very interesting point. So just looking down the grid as well, so we have Puma Racing Neil in P11. He's also got front aero damage, of course, being part of the pile-up when Kennels smashed into the wall. Very surprised that he didn't pit, because he'll be losing a lot of time at this stage. He's on the hard tyres here, which is obviously the slowest tyre compound, but he's currently lapping in the 1:42 range. Now, if you do compare that to VSR Richard, who is on the soft tyres, but with the fastest lap time of a 1:37, we are talking 4.5 seconds the difference. And I don't know if Neil was listening to me, because he's diving into the pits now from P11. So yeah, losing a hell of a time there in P11. He's going to lose another position to Kennels, who will now leapfrog him. Kennels, of course, already made that pit stop and now running on the soft tyres. So Kennels, we know he's got a good pace because he qualified very high up the grid and started very high up there. But as we know, though, with the chicane, that can change it all in an instance.
Right, and we're seeing that, you know, perhaps because he got the damage on lap 2, if he's losing about 4 seconds a lap to the leaders, over the course of 3 laps, that's almost a full pit stop with no fuel. So he's probably opting to just keep the strategy intact, get the damage fixed, and then be able to split the rest of the laps. 6 completed and 24 left to go, so 2 stints of 12 perhaps on the medium compound.
Yes, yeah, well, that's it. I mean, there's a few strategies that could be on play definitely today. There could be the one stopper with just the mediums and the hards. I do believe it's roughly 15 on the mediums and 15 on the hards, as VSR Richard comes in from the race lead then to get off of them soft tyres. So Panic Potato will now inherit the race lead, who has got a 1 second lead over Levicius. So Levicius just getting into that slipstream range, and that is where Levicius will try to reel himself towards Panic Potato to try and reclaim the race lead, or try to get the race lead, should I say, who of course started from 3rd position. But yeah, making good progress right now. Current times roughly in the high 38s to low 39 range, with Potato actually getting a little bit slower there, and you can actually see with the tyre degradation, the medium tyres not looking that great now, and he's lapping in the low to mid 39 range. We've got JDJ now, who's propelled himself up into 3rd position, so really on a charge right now. He is 6 seconds adrift of Levicius, but he is 1 second ahead of Nitro Merlin, who's now up into P4. Of course, all these drivers on the medium tyres right now, so they should get quite a few more laps out of them medium medium tyres, but it's whether or not they can keep that consistency and keep it away from the walls in the chicane, which and oh my god, as we saw Giller in the background go a little bit sideways there, and I'm sure that was a very scary moment for Giller as that wall came closer and closer. But he is in P5 at the moment, 1 second ahead of Chaz in P6, but not too many battles to really talk about at the moment. But from your perspective though, McNulty, anything that we should be keeping an eye on?
Yes, so Richard, after his pit stop onto the mediums, he's coming along the main start-finish straight, currently in 9th as he gains some slipstream on Lightning Lorry in front of him. He's going to be desperate to keep that gap down to the leader as much as possible, as it decides better on making that move into turn 1, but he's right up the back of Lorry there. He's going to be desperate to get by and keep that gap as low as possible to Panic Potato there, so that way once Panic, Potato, and Levidius make their first pit stops. Oh, and there's another bout of contact there. Careful. So once the pit stops are done, as he's starting to lose time now, that he can have the net lead still.
Indeed, and VSR Richard really putting all types of pressure to Lightning Lorry, really making his life as difficult as possible. Yeah, VSR Richard, we know how fast he is. Of course, he started at on pole position, and he is desperate to try and get past Lightning Lorry as he sends one down the inside. He goes massively deep though. Lightning Lorry tries the old switcheroo, isn't able to make it stick though, and VSR Richard, well, he's lucky that Lightning Lorry may have anticipated that move there, because both of them surely would have run out wide should there have been contact. So VSR Richard showing his frustration there. Very, very lucky that that was avoided as he moves up into P8 and Lightning Lorry down into P9. But yeah, Richard, like I said, showing that frustration there, started on pole position, was leading the race. He's on the medium tyres now, and he would have known he was losing a hell of a lot of time behind Lightning Lorry, and it was a bit of a desperate lunge from VSR Richard there. And as I said, McNulty, very lucky that you know, something worse could have happened.
Yeah, and you know, just in that lap alone, while trying to get by, that gap went from 18 seconds or just in the high 18s all the way up to 21 seconds. So three seconds lost for Richard to the leaders in that little stint there. You know, perhaps a move was done out of desperation there, but mounted the climb to get back within that pit stop interval there.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, you know, this is racing, I guess. You know, sometimes you have to risk it for the chocolate biscuit, but yes, this time the risk paid off for him. It's whether or not now he can kind of knit together lots of consistent laps and hope that he's not lost too much time in that debacle. And as we already know, that it's very important to keep it consistent through that chicane, even if you take it, you know, like 5 to 10 kilometers per hour slower, just to make sure that you keep it away from the curves, keep it away from the walls, to you know, survive through that chicane. But yeah, VSR Richard is starting to close in on Latari Racing now. We can see with Latari Racing's tyres, they've seen better days for sure. Currently in 7th position, but of course he is on his first stint, so he's on lap 11 on them medium tyres. So of course they are going to be looking worse for wear as he goes a little bit wide, and very lucky not to lose traction and maybe spin up them rear tyres. So yeah, has to be a bit careful with that one. But certainly VSR Richard is going to start homing in to the TNR driver there, where the gap is about 1.4 seconds between the two drivers. Just scrolling a bit further afield to Chaz then, we saw Nitro Merlin in the background, 2.6 seconds adrift of Chaz. Gilla is 1.3 seconds in front of Chaz for P4, P5 and P6 respectively, with JDJ 5 seconds up the road then in P3. He is very low on fuel, so he'll be coming in to the pits imminently then, who you got to say with JDJ, you know, it was a really horrific start from him. But
yeah, Flawed, if you want to just take a look at P10, not to cut you off there, speaking of bad tires, bad fuel, Kennels is really struggling as VSR Viz is trying to get by on the better shape mediums there as they go into the death chicane. Kennels has been holding off Viz for over a lap now, but those tires are really, really in bad shape.
They are indeed, yeah. Nothing on them front lefts. So the tyres are going to be screaming for dear life. However, we are coming around the final corner and Kennels is going to dive into the pits. With JDJ as well already dived into the pits from P3. So that means Fish will be released then and move up into P9, is it? Yeah, P9, as JDJ gets released back on circuit into 10th position. Now JDJ has decided to get on the medium tyres. So I don't know if did JDJ did he start on the hards? Can't remember. I don't think he would have, to be honest. So hards of course are the mandatory tyres. Do you know at all, McNulty?
I don't believe he did. And just one more crucial note about Kennels. Kennels has already done 2 pit stops, so this is stint number 3 for him on the hard tires. He's going to be looking to make them last 18 laps, which is possible for the hard tires. It's more of a question about whether the fuel will last until the end. But JDJ, I believe he started on the medium tires, so he might be going for a medium to medium to hard strategy there.
Right, okay, yep, that makes sense. We have got a battle now slightly developing between P3 and P4. Chaz currently holds P4. He's got front aero damage, so I do wonder whether or not this is damage that is held for all this time, or this was something quite recently. I'm not sure, but Gilla hasn't got damage, of course, so he's up into P3. He's got not too much fuel left. I would imagine this is perhaps his last lap. Surely it's not going to last 2 laps. I don't know, but yeah, currently P3, Chaz P4, VSR Richard 4.7 seconds down on Chaz. So we're starting to see whether or not VSR Richard had lost an exponential amount of time being stuck behind Lightning Lorry, because he is 17.3 seconds adrift of Panic Potato. Now Panic Potato will be coming in to the pit lane very, very shortly. He has a 4.7 second lead over Levitius, who's in similar vein, and Levitius has got front aero damage. So something we've missed there. Has Levitius become the next victim of the chicane? I do wonder with that one. Front aero damage there, but yeah, certainly he will be getting the damage repaired and onto new boots, both on the medium tyres, of course. Gilla also coming in, and Chaz. So Richard in prime position right now. He's got about half a tank of fuel, racing medium tyres. The gap has come down to 16.6 seconds. We do predict that the pit lane loss is in the region of about 25 to 30 seconds, depending on how much fuel you'll be putting in. So Levitius and Panic Potato in from P1 and P2 respectively with no fuel. Jeez, actually Chaz also with no fuel. So there's Richard, who's going to now inherit the race lead or retake. Well, actually I thought he was, but his teammate Gilla has actually decided to go 1 lap further. So the gap is 3.6 seconds, but it is closing fast. So it does look like that Gilla is saving fuel at this stage. I do wonder whether whether or not that is the right call or not. But yeah, Richard certainly faster at this stage of the race, who can afford to push and really try to extend that lead over the drivers behind him. Fish, P3 for him. He'll be in quite shortly. He is 14 seconds adrift of Richard, with Panic Potato, who's now been released on circuit into P4 then, and this is something that Levicius perhaps didn't like, although saying that, so Levicius is on the hard tyres. He has got just over, well, he must have filled up to a full tank. I think Panic Potato, oh, what's happened there then? The gap wasn't that much between Panic Potato. Oh, but of course, because Levicius had damage, didn't he? So, of course, he would have lost that in repairing that damage. Didn't realise it was that much, but yeah, certainly that is what has happened. JDJ has already made the move on Panic Potato. I have just saved the replay, so we'll see how that move was done. But as we come through the chicane, as safe as houses, as they both negotiate the chicane perfectly, JDJ up into P4 and Panic Potato and P5. But let's have a look if I caught the replay in time there. And yeah, there's JDJ now. So JDJ all over the back bumper of Panic Potato, and then he took the inside line. Panic Potato left the door open, and as easy as you like for JDJ, although Panic Potato did try to hold it on the outside, but that is the slippery part of the circuit when it comes to that hairpin. So yeah, JDJ on merit then up into P3. I think is one of the drivers come in. Was it? I'm not sure who that was who came in. But up into P3 now with VSR Fish. P2 for him, 14.6 seconds adrift of now race leader VSR Richard, who is looking good at this stage, although we do know with Richard he's going on the two stopper. He does need to go onto the hard tyres, which is definitely a lot slower than the softs and the medium tyres. So it's going to be interesting to see once he does come in from them racing medium tyres, how much time he has gained or lost, really. We'll definitely see the predicament he finds himself in. But yeah, any other movers and shakers that we need to know about McNulty up and down the grid?
Well, generally there's a pretty decent gap between all drivers. But one thing about the strategy between Levicius and Richard is that, you know, Levicius hasn't done too well to close the gap any further to Richard, who's in the lead. So what we're probably anticipating here is a set of worn hard tires by Levicius at the end of the race versus Richard on brand new hard tires. So it may end up being a last lap showdown, something to keep an eye on if you're watching this race in the audience.
Yep, certainly. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to sort of keep up with the strategies, because as far as I know, there's probably about 3 strategies that could be on play at the moment. I know that there are some drivers that are thinking about just doing the one stopper, which is just the hards and the mediums, and split evenly. And then we've got the two stoppers in terms of the soft tyres, which is roughly around the sort of 8 lap region, and then a further 12 laps on the mediums, and well, in fact that would make it less actually, wouldn't it, on the softs? 12 and 12, wasn't it, on the mediums, I do believe. So that would make it 6 laps on the softs, but then Richard, I think, went further on them soft tyres, so perhaps wants to get more on the medium tyres and less on the hard tyres, perhaps. It's going to be very interesting. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
you certainly want to keep as the hard laps to a minimum if you're in a 2-stop strategy. So yeah, I'm just echoing that sentiment as you have the camera right here on the closest battle on track as Neil is starting to approach Chaz, gaining roughly half a second since the beginning of this lap.
Yeah, so Chaz is on the hard tyres, so it's the very Oh yeah, no, he does well. He does well. Neil gets very close to the left-hand wall there, which was a little bit too close for comfort. But yeah, so Neil is on the softer of the compounds. But very interesting though. Like we are kind of in that window now, isn't it, where the mediums start to feel quite horrible and a bit slower to the hard comparisons, really. So Chaz on the fresh hard tyres, last lap was a 1 minute 40.3. Neil with a 1 minute 40.4, so very, very even when it comes to pace now. But of course,
we might have a battle shaping up at the front here. JDJ is going for a move on Vish to take P2.
Okay, they are teammates, of course. So it may have been that Fish was suffering on them tyres, of course. So we'll have a look on the replay, but thank you for addressing that, McNulty, as we get on the replay now. So yeah, going through the kind of slow right hand and then through to the S's, and Fish didn't really get the best of runs, and then I think, you know, because they are teammates, I think just you know, to stop him from losing any more time, he just allowed JDJ through into second position. So they are how they are. Looks like JDJ is pulling away now as we come through the final corner of lap 17 of 30. There's Fish diving into the pits from third position, who's going to be getting off them medium tyres and filling up that tank, of course, as well. So Panic Potato has now been promoted into third position, 5.7 seconds behind VSR JDJ, who is on the medium tyres. JDJ, I'm just trying to work out if he has been on the hards or not. But Panic Potato, of course, on the mandatory hard tyres now. He can officially stay on them tyres if he really does want to. He's got just under 3/4 of a tank. We did say that 18 laps was possibly the maximum amount of laps that you can get on a full tank. So I do wonder whether or not Panic Potato is thinking, do you know what, try and keep it consistent. We're in third position as well. We're 21 seconds adrift from VSR Richard. We know that VSR Richard does need to go onto them hard tyres, who has a 21 second lead over Panic Potato. So we do predict that with VSR Richard, because of course he's going to need to put some fuel in the tank, he's going to be roughly about 25 seconds. So Panic Potato looking like he's in a really, really good position here, Minolte. And you know, perhaps that kind of time that was spent behind a slower car perhaps has really been costly for him.
Yeah, certainly he's going to have to be doing some catch-up as the race comes to its conclusion, but he will have the advantage of a lighter fuel tank and fresher tires. But for sure, that battle a couple laps ago in the middle of the race hampered Richard greatly. Originally, I had thought that the battle would be between Richard and Levidius, but Levidius picked up that damage not too long ago, so that kind of neutralized things between the two of them, with Levidius sitting 27, almost 28 seconds behind.
Yes, indeed. As Gilla goes, Nitro Merlin goes into the pit lane, was originally P5, now just getting, well no, sorry, he's putting fuel in, so he's sinking down the grid as it's Gilla inherits P5, Chaz P6, Latari Racing P7, and then VSR Fish in P8. They're all on the hard tyres here, so it looks like they well, you know, provided that they don't have a bit of a catastrophe and hit a wall and stuff, it looks like they are going to be staying out for the remainder of the race. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just flicking up and down the grid now, just see how everyone is positioned. Levitius certainly has been consistent. He was running 1 minute 40s, 1 minute 40.2s on 3 consecutive laps. The last lap was a 1 minute 39.9, so certainly showing excellent pace, as yes, he does keep it away from the walls there. 5 seconds adrift of teammate Panic Potato, who's lapping in the sort of early to mid 1 minute 40 range. He is currently 23.3 seconds adrift of VSR Richard. Let's quickly go down the grid because, yeah, certainly the gap between Latari Racing and VSR Fish is now down to 0.6 of a second and closing. So Fish on the hards, Latari Racing on the more worn hard tyres, where he's probably feeling that tyre wear is like Latari Racing nearly loses control of that car on the exit of the last corner, and there is Fish with the better traction to move up into 7th, and Latari Racing with that slight error losing a position to the VSR driver. So Latari Racing still in the hunt for that 7th position, but it looks like he's going to have to tuck in now into P8, although very, very close between the two drivers then. So negotiated well from Fish just after turn 2, but yeah, certainly the Latari Racing proving to be a little bit of a nuisance for VSR Fish, but it does look like Fish has got that little bit more pace as we go through the S's now. And it's very important to get this first part of the S's correct. That really sets you up for the second and third part of the S's, and get that more acceleration and top speed, because Latari Racing is firmly in that slipstream, and that is pulling him along as we come down the hill into the hairpin for the 20th time as VSR Richard into the pits from the race lead. So where is JDJ? JDJ is going to inherit the race lead temporarily. Panic Potato, here he comes now across the line. He's in P2, but you could say technically, provisionally P1. VSR Richard just getting released out of the pit lane now, and Levitius is coming in like a homing missile, and yes, he still remains in P4, but the gap to VSR Richard down to about 2 seconds now. So VSR Richard will come under increasing pressure as he tries to warm up them hard tyres. Of course, them hard tyres take quite a long time to warm up, particularly on the out lap. So it remains to be seen if Richard can hold on to that 2-second margin, because of course doesn't want Levitius getting into that slipstream, providing him that boost in speed. McNulty.
That's right, and you know, you can see Levitius is currently at a tire disadvantage, a fuel advantage, but a tire disadvantage. He may end up having to save a little bit. So it's really shaping up for these three drivers, Potato, Richard, Levitius, for it to come down to the final couple laps here. I did want to point your attention to a battle that's brewing here between P7 Viz and P8 Latari Racing. It looks like it has closed up a little bit as we get to the end of Sector 2. Latari on the hards, Viz on the less worn hards, but I do believe that both of these drivers are going to try and make it to the end, so an interesting battle shaping up there.
Yeah, well, I mean, Fish did originally get past Latari Racing. If you remember, he made that mistake on the, I'm trying to think what number turn that is. I think it's turn number 6, is it? The right-hand turn up the hill. So right. Fish did take that position away. But yeah, Latari Racing, I mean, he's been firmly in that slipstream with the better tyres, of course. Sorry, no, not with the better tyres. What am I talking about?
Worse tyres.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it must be Commentator's curse, because he's all of a sudden dropped back quite a bit by a couple tenths.
Yes. Yes, indeed. But we have got a battle developing for that 9th position then. So Lightning Lorry currently holds that 9th position ahead of VSR Nitro Merlin. Now, Nitro Merlin on the medium tyres, so you do expect him to be faster at this point of the race, with Lightning Lorry on the hard tyres. Of course, a fair bit of tyre degradation on them tyres as well, so them tyres are not going to feel the best as they... Oh, Lightning Lorry goes a bit sideways and into the wall! Oh no! And that is definitely a Commentator's curse there, as he's going to pick up front aero damage, and it looks like Pure Racing Neo is going to take that position away from him to move up into P10. Lightning Lorry down into P11, but oh my god, that was a horrific turn for him, McNulty.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you're just pushing it too hard, trying to get every tenth available on the track, and then you know if you go a little bit too wide going into that corner and you hit that bump wrong, it gets the car unstabilized, overcorrect, and then exit scene left right into the wall, unfortunately.
Yes, indeed, and well, what that is going to do now. I know we're talking about P11, but VSR Wolfie, who obviously had that nightmare start, currently in P12, of course, had to go on them hard tyres very early on. Well, VSR Wolfie is now 5.6 seconds adrift of Lightning Lorry. Now, Lightning Lorry, we know he's got the front aero damage, so does he stay out on track? Does he feel like that? It's faster with the last 8 laps of this race to really just carry that damage, maybe lose a second per lap as opposed to a healthy car, or does he get that damage repaired? It looks like he's going to carry on, so we'll see if VSR Wolfie is able to close that gap, because the gap was 5.5 seconds, now up to 5.9 seconds. Now, does that mean that VSR Wolfie is doing a lot of fuel saving here to try and rescue his race here? It does look like he is, so therefore he is losing a lot of time. His lap times have been consistently 1 minute 40s, but the last lap was a 1 minute 41.5. He's also got front aero damage, and I've literally just noticed that. So Wolfie is definitely going to be slower at this point of the race. So Lightning Lorry, sorry, should then really just try to keep it consistent then, knowing that he can at least hold on to that 11th position. We've got Kennels, wrong camera there. We've got Kennels at the back of the grid, P13. Now, he's on the medium tyres. I would imagine he's going to run them till the end of the race. I do remember him using the hard tyres. So he has only got 2 seconds to catch up to VSR Wolfie then. You can see visibly the gap is tumbling and tumbling, just under 2 seconds now. So surely Kennels, if he can get a good exit here and come through the chicane safely, surely he's going to take that position away from VSR Wolfie, as Wolfie will be gently nursing that car towards lap 30 there. Look at Kennels, look, absolutely flying. So the gap now down to 1.3 seconds, with Lightning Lorry 4.8 seconds up the road from Wolfie. It does mean Kennels may start closing in on Lightning Lorry as well, but let's just get back on board here. It looks like Kennels has got a good run on him. 0.8 of a second and tumbling, because he is firmly in that slipstream now. So Wolfie, he's going to be defending for his life. I don't think Kennels is going to reach him by the time we hit turn 3, but sorry, turn 2. But you can see now that Kennels really applying that pressure now. Oh my god, he has a moment, doesn't he? He has a moment. And that is the danger of pushing it too hard there, because yeah, he very, very nearly well, there would have been race over, definitely.
Yeah, very, very silently. I'm sure Kennels is hoping that we move the camera away from him very soon, so he can take advantage of the 2 drivers in front of him who have damage. But if he keeps making mistakes like that, wiggles like that, it's going to be hard to make up those positions before the end of the race.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and of course, as the laps come tumbling down as well, them racing medium tyres are going to get worse and worse and make it even more difficult for him to catch up with Wolfie, although the gap is still 0.8 of a second and tumbling. So yeah, definitely Wolfie is saving fuel here. Can Wolfie negotiate this chicane? Well, yes he can. And Kennels,
we might need to go to the front. Flawed, sorry to cut you off.
Yes.
It looks like there's a 1 second, 0.2 of a second interval between the lead here. It's come to a head between these two. Potato, Richard, heading towards the hairpin in turn number 12.
Yeah, and as we come down the hill now, Panic Potato is going to defend that inside line. Who's going to come out on top here? As it looks like Richard is trying to hang it around the outside, but that is not going to work this time. Panic Potato will sweep in front of him and still remain in the race lead as we come through to the chicane for the 25th time of asking. And Panic Potato negotiates that well with VSR. Richard still applying that pressure now as we get on board with him as we come to the final turn of lap number 25. Panic Potato did leave the door open for VSR Richard, but VSR Richard may be playing the long game here, knowing that you know, he's got 5 laps to do it, and maybe just about timing it to perfection. There's Panic Potato. He's going to defend the inside line. Richard going to the outside. Who's going to come out top here? Is Panic Potato going to be able to hold him off? No, because VSR Richard has the power to get past him and move up into the race lead and gets on the brakes just in time for the turn as Panic Potato comes back at him. He's got the inside line, but surely he's not going to take that narrow line. VSR Richard is just going to hold off Panic Potato, and now officially has the race lead, Benalti.
Yes, signed, sealed, delivered. Execution perfect on the strategy. Had to pit a little bit earlier than maybe he would have liked, considering his first stint was on the soft tire. However, massive massive tire advantage, excuse me. He's just got the grip to get it done, and now it's about increasing that lead into the sunset so he can breathe easy and get this win.
Yes, indeed. Well, Panic Potato is not going to give up without a fight. So he goes a little bit deep, or maybe VSR Richard got on the anchors a little bit early. I'm not really sure. But Panic Potato is sniffing the exhaust of VSR Richard as we speak, as we come through the S's now. Let's get back on board with Panic Potato then as we come through the chicane. They both negotiate it well, but VSR Richard looks like he had a little bit more nous and a little bit braver as he went through the chicane, carried that a little bit more speed than Panic Potato. Of course, he didn't want to be too close to Richard because his view would have been impaired, but yeah, certainly within half a second still. So Panic Potato definitely not out of this at the moment, but quickly let's have a look on Levicius as well. Levicius is currently P3, 5.8 seconds adrift. Now we have only got 4 laps remaining, but of course as you know, the more that VSR Richard and Panic Potato battle, the better for Levicius really, because then he'll come back into the fight. But he has got a no, as Levicius goes sideways and nearly facing the wrong way, just about saves it in the nick of time, but that would have cost him. In fact, it has cost him about a second with that moment there. Let's just see if we can get a good replay of that. And oh my god, how did he do that? That was a save of the day, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we're talking about last lap heroics. Look at Kennels going into the start of lap 27. He's taken advantage of these 2 drivers in Laurie and Wolfie, who both have damage. We looked away for a little bit and he got the move done. So up into P11 goes Kennels.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned about Lightning Laurie, didn't we? He was 5 seconds up the road from Kennels, and obviously Kennels was in P13 at the time, trying to catch up with Wolfie. So yeah, certainly, yeah, Lightning Laurie has front aero damage. So don't know where that came from. Maybe that was another victim in the chicane, but yeah, Kennels up 2 positions then, as you said, McNulty. So starting to make good progress, although them tyres are going to be a little bit worse for wear, so it's probably more about consolidating that 11th position now, which you know, would be better points than if he had come 13th. And he's got to think of the bigger picture really when it comes to the championship. You know, maybe he'll count as a dropped around for him, who knows, but you can't predict what's going to happen in the future. So 11th would be definitely much better than 13th. So Kennels just needs to keep it consistent, but he's definitely pulling away from Lightning Laurie, as Kennels, yeah, he does negotiate that well. Lightning Laurie also does as well, but it is going to be a fight between himself and VSR Wolfie, as VSR Wolfie gets a much better run than him as he pulls to the inside now. VSR Wolfie, he's going to take that position away from him. Actually got the move done before we got into the braking zone. So VSR Wolfie up into P12, Lightning Laurie in 13th. He has got the slipstream though, of course, but any other moves and shakers? Actually, we have got a fight on the hands for P6 as well, because Chaz is trying to hold off VSR Fish, who is just 0.8 of a second down the road from him. So as we come up the brow of the hill, down the hill now into the hairpin, Chaz Chaz, of course, on them hard tyres with Fish with newer tyres than Chaz actually. So Fish should be a little bit quicker at this stage. 1 minute 40.1 was his last lap time. 1 minute 41.1 from Chaz. So a second quicker in the last lap. So Fish is certainly looking confident to maybe, propelling his way up into 6th position. We do need to have a look on the race lead as well, though. 2.5 seconds is the lead for VSR Richard. So you predicted right here, Minolti, and you did say about VSR Richard spending less time on them hard tyres, meaning he had superior grip, and if he was able to eke the speed out of that car and keep it consistent, that he would come fighting back. Well, certainly it's job complete from VSR Richard. 2.6 seconds is the lead with a lap and a half to go. Levitius, yeah, go on.
Speaking of that, 1.5 laps left to go. We actually have two battles brewing between P6 and P7. Vish sends it up the inside of Chaz to take 6th position, and then you look back a little bit further at Merlin in P9 trying to get the same overtake done, perhaps at the same corner against Latari Racing, who is sporting front bumper and tire damage. Wow. Suspension damage rather.
So it's all happened for Latari Racing. Yeah, Nitro Merlin should be able to take that position away from him. I am literally flicking between the two battles as we speak. Yeah, Latari Racing really struggling as we go through the S's. He's literally understeering wide, and there's Nitro Merlin, should be able to take it with ease. Then Nitro Merlin just bided his time and took the right time to make the move, and moves up into 8th position. Yeah, Latari Racing unfortunately fighting a losing battle at this stage, but let's quickly have a look on the replay on this battle when Fish overtook Chaz. So Chaz perhaps didn't get the best of runs. There was Fish fighting tooth and nail, goes for the cutback. Wow, what a move from Fish then. Chaz had no answer to that, and Fish up into P6. Okay, as we are on the final lap now. So it looks like they are still very, very tight, nip and tuck between P6 and P7. Let's quickly have a look at Richard. Wow, he's developed a 6.5 second lead to Panic Potato then. Levitius is 4 seconds adrift of Panic Potato in P3, JDJ P4, VSR Gilla P5, and it is still Liner Stern for VSR Fish and Chaz in P7. Just 0.3 of a second separating them. I'm going to have to keep an eye on VSR Richard as he approaches the final turn, but we're going to stay on board with this fight for P6 because it's now or never for Chaz. VSR Rich is just about to come to the last turn now, so we're going to have to get back on board with him because VSR Richard is going to win round 6 at Dragon Trail Seaside in the MSA Cup for his second win of the season. Congratulations to Richard, who is finished 10 seconds ahead of Panic Potato. He's run out of fuel, and Levitius is going to take that second position away from Panic Potato in P3, and JDJ nearly took that position but finishes in P4. VSR Gilla is going to come across the line in P5 ahead of Fish in P6. What has happened to Chaz? Chaz has...
I think he might have had a crash in the chicane on the last lap.
Wow. I mean, you could have saved it for the lap before because I had to get on board with Richard. But yeah, we have missed that. He has got front aero damage. So Chaz will come home in P7 then. And VSR Nitro Merlin for P8. Latari Racing will finish in 9th ahead of Puma Racing Neil in 10th position. Kennels is going to come across the line in 11th position. So a good fight back from Kennels with VSR Wolfie. He will be classified for P12, and then Lightning Lorry at the back of the grid for P13. But what a fantastic race that was.
Oh, absolutely. You had it all, different strategies, different tire compounds, different spots of overtaking. Certainly turns 5 into 6. I didn't expect to see as many overtakes there as I did see. You know, you got to straddle the curb there, and we saw people lose it there. And in fact, I think we saw as many people lose it in turn 5 into 6 as we did in the death chicane. So, you know, definitely unexpected things happening up and down the grid. Super exciting.
Super exciting indeed. We're going to be back in just a moment's time. Okay, so just to grab you the, well, I say classified results, we'll say provisional results for now, just in case there were any stewards' inquiries involved in this race. But for now, it is VSR Richard who claims his second victory of the season with a pretty emphatic performance from him, finishing 11.6 seconds better off than Levitius, who stole Panic Potato's position on the line because Panic Potato ran out of fuel just meters before the checkered line. So Levitius takes P2, Panic Potato takes third position. We'll get the thoughts of the top 3 drivers very, very shortly. Fourth position goes to VSR JDJ, as he was literally meters away from taking Panic Potato's position, but he'll have to settle for fourth position. And I think with everything said and done, and with the start that he had, I think he's got to take P4. P5 is VSR Giller, who finishes 2 seconds in front of VSR Fish for P5 and P6 respectively. Chaz finishes in 7th position, who looked like he was going to take that 6th position, but clearly had a moment in the chicane, and he had to settle for 7th. VSR Nitro Merlin comes home in 8th position, with Latari Racing finishing in 9th, ahead of Puma Racing Neil in 10th. Kennels, well, with a good comeback in the end, of course, had that moment in the chicane, finishes in 11th, with VSR Wolfie, of course, had that nightmare start, and well, his race was pretty much ruined after that incident. He came home in 12th position, ahead of a Lightning Lorry, who finishes at the back of the pack in P13. So I'm just going to sort ourselves out as we interview the top 3 drivers of VSR Richard, Levitius and Panic Potato. So back in a few moments' time. Okay, so we are back in the interview room, and I mean, what a fantastic race that was. So close to the very end. I got to almost say commiserations to Panic Potato, who we're going to interview right now, finished in 3rd position. I mean, a bit of a weird place to be in, I think, because normal circumstances, maybe you take that 3rd position, but of course you finish with no fuel. But how are you feeling overall?
No, I'm feeling quite happy with that. I mean, my pace was there the whole time. Few mistakes here and there throughout the race, but I kept in touching distance with Richard, which was like quite good for me considering he was on the two stop and he had some insane pace from qualifying through to the end of the race. So I mean, I can't complain at all.
Okay. Well, so tell me about your strategy then, Panic Potato, because it looked like there was quite a number of strategies involved there. Now, of course, you kept it away from the walls. I mean, we know about Dragon Trail, right? It's all about negotiating that chicane without hitting them walls and picking up damage. So, was you always going to go for that one stopper?
Yes, me personally, I just chose to play it safe. Didn't want to really risk it swapping onto the fresh tires and trying to push to the absolute limit the whole time because I expect myself to hit a wall if I am doing that. So I just decided to rather play it safe with a one stop, have to fuel save a little bit. So it just dialed down the pace a little bit, gave me that extra margin for error. So yeah, one stop was the clear option for me.
No, fair play. It seemed to work a treat for you. We just need to maybe practice the amount of fuel to put in the car, baby.
Yeah, it would probably be a good idea.
But no, fantastic performance from you nevertheless, though, and I'm glad that you're happy with that third position. But McNulty, of course, you are new to the commentary team and obviously new to many of these drivers. What did you think of Panic Potato's performance, and any questions at all?
Oh, absolute masterclass. Congratulations on the podium finish. I just had a question about, how you dealt with the stresses of, being, higher up the grid, lower up the grid, a little bit of uncertainty of what the strategies were of the drivers around you. How did you manage all of that information that was showing on the top left-hand side of your screen as you raced?
I must say that on that first lap, when Richard kind of just walked away from me, I was in awe. I had no idea what was happening because I was expecting pretty much everyone to start on the mediums. But then I saw his lap time and I saw that he was on the softs and I was like, okay, cool. I'm just going to carry on with my own race. I'm not going to worry about anyone else's strategies. Just head down, focus, and ignore everyone else. So I didn't actually even really pay much attention to their strategies. I'm going to have to go watch the replay now and see what everyone did. Because, I mean, the only people that I was paying attention to was Richard and then Liam behind me.
So during your pit, did you run into any traffics due to an offset? I know a couple drivers had incidents on the early laps and they had to do an early pit stop. Did that interfere with your strategy at all?
Not really. I came out the pits right behind Branneveen, but then he boxed pretty much the next lap, I think. So he literally just gave me some slipstream. So it didn't really cost me any time at all. It actually just helped me. And then the rest of the race was pretty much smooth sailing.
Gotcha. Well, congratulations again on a third place finish.
Oh, thank you. And just before I go, I wanted to say thank you to you guys for doing such an amazing job with the broadcast, as always. You guys really are fantastic.
That is very, very kind words. I'll make sure I slip some money in the post for you there, Panic Potato. But yeah, fantastic result from you, and yeah, definitely a result that you can carry through to the next round as well. So really look forward to seeing how you perform in round 7 of the MSA Cup. But thank you for your time, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you. See you guys soon.
See you soon. Bye-bye. Okay, and then to our second place finisher, and a little bit, I would say, fortuitous second position. But Levitius, I mean, with the grand scheme of things, are you happy with that second position? I mean, what are your thoughts with how your race went today?
Well, the race went perfectly until lap 9. I was basically taking the famous chicane very specifically every time, but unfortunately I got a bit too much turn in when I was trying to compensate for the dirty air that I had from Dylan, and I hit the red part of the circuit, which completely unsettled my car, got me damage. After that, finishing second, thanks to Dylan's teamwork, he let me through. It helped me out a ton for the championship. Everything else was just damage limitation. Even JDJ got hit at the beginning, so it was honestly just a damage limitation after that. And coming out P2 was the best it could have been. Richard was just too far ahead. I think if I didn't have that mistake in me, I think we would have been a lot closer in terms of the strategies converging. It's just unfortunate, but second place at probably one of the sketchiest tracks is not bad.
So, I mean, I know that you said in the last round that it was kind of one of them circuits, Dragon Trail, where you was kind of fearing that race because, well, I think most people fear it because of the chicane, right? So, was you anticipating the sort of the messy start to the race, or I mean, how do you think the race went in general for you?
Overall, it was actually quite clean. It's unfortunate the chain reaction that happened on lap 1. It was a multi-car chain reaction, like Gran Turismo ping pong physics at its best. That JJ came out second best, unfortunately. It was like a 4-car chain reaction all the way back from P9, I think it was. So going 3-1 into that corner, though, is quite risky. I took the inside line, just the safe line, and made it work. And overall, the race is relatively clean for Dragon Trail, so it's not bad.
Well, I mean, I've got to say, as you obviously thought that you was going to get P3, obviously helped out by your teammate to finish in second position. But yeah, congratulations on, okay, you made a mistake, but, it was still a very, very good performance. And, if this is one of the sort of the worst rounds of the second half of this season, then you got to take that, right?
Definitely. I'm really looking forward to a topless. It's one of those tracks that just requires a lot of flow, and I really enjoy it, especially in the Nissan. I've had really good success with this specific car there. So I'm really excited, and hopefully we get some rain. I've been craving having to have a wet race once, and just keep moving on now. I'm really excited for the rest of the season, get over this round, and yeah.
Well, McNulty, again, you probably know Levitius actually, but obviously this is your first race. So what did you think of Levitius's performance, and any questions for him at all?
Honestly, it was inspirational. If your multi-race winning streak is going to come to an end, I would think that most of us would want it to come to an end by coming in second place. A little bit of luck on your side at the very end there. But how did you keep your composure after having that chicane incident there?
Well, I just had to keep my head down. I didn't even react. I did have a bit of a sigh of being a bit frustrated, but I knew that it was a long race still ahead, and I knew JDJ already had an issue as well. So the whole championship was still up in the air that I could at least get P3, and it was going to be a P3 no matter what. Even though I had a bit of a close end with JDJ, I just was driving terribly. I was out of the flow of things, but I still made it work, and yeah, I'm just happy to be done with this track. Yeah.
I'm sure that's the sentiment up and down the grid. Congratulations again, Levitius, on your finish here. Looking forward to seeing what you do at a topless.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Levitius, just to like an ending question, really. So, Autopolis is a very technical circuit, isn't it? So, what do you think of your chances ahead of round 7 for you?
I've always done pretty well there when I've actually done my races there. I got my first ever podium, I remember, on this game with the Nissan, one of the first seasons. So I've had really good memories there. It's probably not a favorite amongst many people, but if you know how to drive it, it actually flows quite well. And there's quite many corners you can basically have your own interpretation of the lines. There's a lot of openness to basically just do your preferred line, because it's quite wide in certain sections in that track. And I just think with the rain factor, that will also probably be a thing. I'm just really excited.
So what you're saying is bring on the rain, yeah?
Yes, please.
Well, you heard it here first. Then, well, congratulations on a great performance again, Levitius. P2 for you, and yeah, certainly look forward to seeing how you get on in the rain, if it is rain.
Thank you.
Thank you, Levitius. Take care, mate.
You too.
Okay, and then to our race winner, VSR Richard, with a absolute fantastic performance from you. Second win of the season. How's that feel?
No, I'm very happy. I really enjoyed the race. It was great fun. It was a little bit hectic through the Dev chicane for 30 laps, on and on and on. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the race, and I'm very happy with the result.
So I need to ask you this then, Richard. So obviously there was a few strategies on play. It looked like it was like the one-stopper versus the two-stopper. You chose the two-stopper. Was qualifying a factor in terms of what strategy you was going to pick, or was you always going to pick the two-stopper today?
No, definitely. So I knew I had some good pace on this track with the car combo. In some of our practice lobbies, I managed to do 37 once without slip. I did get a little bit of slip from TNR Latori. Thank you for moving out of the way, if he's still listening. When I was on my hot lap, that definitely pushed me in the point once. I think otherwise Panic Potato would have had pole. But my decision was, look, we tested both strategies, the one-stopper and the two-stopper. And they are very similar at the end of the day. So it all depends on the traffic on the day. So when I qualified first, I decided to go for the softs. Didn't want to get stuck in traffic and lose too much time. Especially on that first corner with the grid start, it's hectic. Unfortunate for JD, that span out there, he also had insane pace. So yeah, I'm glad it worked. So my plan was to pull away, so that I don't find myself in battles, and just push as hard as I can every single lap. I did lose about 5 seconds in traffic on my medium stint. Trying to overtake, I think it was TNR Lawrence and Latori. But yeah, after that, when I managed to get past them, it was clean air all the way. And then thank you for Panic Potato also having some nice clean battles towards the end. I knew I had more fuel. I could rev out, and I knew I had more tires left. So it was just a matter of time. I just had to be patient. Then the opportunity will present itself, and then I can go for the overtake and pull away.
Yeah, and just getting onto that note, really, when you said you got caught up in traffic, did you fear the worst, really? Because obviously on the first stint you're on the soft tires, you've pulled away from the grid, you're trying to sort of really maximize the tire advantage at the front of the grid in clean air, and then being stuck in that traffic, you know, kind of itching away to try and get past them, but of course they're not going to make it easy for you. So was there fear from you that kind of advantage had been blown?
Yeah, so no, I thought that's going to be the case. It was only two TNR guys that I had to overtake. I knew if I had to come onto the back of one of the VSR guys because I'm on the two-strap, they would have let me go. Yeah, they did a phenomenal job trying to keep me behind. But yeah, I knew that they're not revving out and they are fuel saving, so it was just a matter of time. To make the overtake and get it done with. So yeah, I did lose a couple of seconds. It would have been great if I, after my last stint, came out ahead of Panic Potato. Unfortunately, with the battles in the midfield, did not happen. But at least I knew I got better tires and more fuel, so I can close the gap and wait for the opportunity to overtake him.
Fair play. You certainly made that work. And yeah, McNulty, I mean, have you got any thoughts, feelings on our race winner at all?
Yeah, nice to meet you, VSR Richard, and congratulations. Bravo, pole position. win, and most importantly, you take back the driver points lead in the championship. So bravo on that as well. A little birdie told me that you specifically were practicing the medium hard strategy. So it was a surprise to see you on the softs in the beginning. How much practice did you do with the soft to medium to hards?
Only 2 practice races with the soft medium hard. You're 100% right. The birdie, I don't know who's the birdie, but he's 100% correct. So it was always a medium hard. I think the times are quite close to each other. There's about 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds in all the different strats. But I took the gamble after qualifying on first and decided to go for the soft strat. I also test the one stopper. A one stopper is, I think, in my view, slightly faster. But like I said, I did not want to get involved in traffic because I did not know what the other guys were going to do. So yeah, I'm happy I chose the soft run in the beginning. It's actually better to run a soft stint in the middle. But yeah, I decided because of on pole, I'm going to start with the soft, pull the gap as much as I can and take it from there.
Gotcha. I think you're one of 2 drivers to use all 3 tires, if I have that correct. So bravo on taking the road less traveled. So you end the race winning streak of Levidius with your win today. And as we move to a topless, what do you think your prospects are for this race and beyond? Are you looking forward to rain? Do you want it to stay drive? Give us a little insight there.
Yeah, I think I'm not particularly very quick when it comes to wet races. I'm still working on a couple of braking inputs and acceleration, especially on the wet tracks. I know he's very, very fast on wet tracks, and I know Levitius as well. So I know there's definitely a wet track coming. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to be, but I'm looking forward to the rest of the races. I'm quite comfortable with the tracks and the rest of the cars, the combos that the championship has posted out. So we'll take it from there. If it's a rain race, I'll do my best. I know I'm not going to be the fastest, but try to be consistent, keep the damage away, keep penalties away, and hope for a decent finish at least. Anything can happen on the day in a wet race.
Very well said, Richard. Again, congratulations on your victory. Hard earned. Hopefully you can go and celebrate for the rest of the night. But Flawed, back to you if you have any other questions for Richard.
Well, I just want to sort of make a note on what Richard said there. So whoever the race director is, Richard is calling for a dry race. Please don't make it a rain race. Is that correct, Richard?
No, thank you. Yes, like that will be awesome. But yeah, let's see what happens. I'm game and keen on either way. It's all fun and it's really enjoyable the whole championship.
Yes, and well, as McNulty mentioned as well, you take a lead or you go back on top of the championship for now. So you must be in high spirits going into round 7, of course.
Yeah, no, definitely the confidence. It's definitely a confidence booster to win on this track. It is a difficult track to drive, especially with this car that wants to kill you on each corner. So there's a lot of braking input and throttle input control that you need to fine tune to be able to get fast without having the risk of spinning out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the championship. I think the 4 or 5 top drivers are very close to each other. So my personal opinion, it's still I'm going to give it my all and my best, but it can go either way on the day. Like what happened today, JDJ had good pace. Unfortunately, he messed up his quali and he got taken out in the first corner. Otherwise, he would have been up there as well. So, like I said, I think it was in the second race of the season. I think the competition is so fierce and good now in Pool 1, which is good to see for the South Africa sim racing community. And it keeps everybody on their toes. It's not like just a one-man show and a runaway every single race. So anything can happen on the specific day. Yes, there's always this 1 or 2 guys that's got a little bit more pace, but I mean racecraft and one lap pace craft is 2 different stories. So yeah, I think the championship is still open. I'm not going to have a big head because I'm lying at number 1 now. I think I will overtake Levitius on the point standings. I know he's going to be back. I know he's very fast. Panic Dylan, I think his name is Dylan. Panic Potato, he's a young guy and he's got awesome pace. So I think it's still all open. JD is also there. Chaz is there. Wolfie is a little bit rusted, but he'll be back. Fissy is there. So I think on the day, like I said in the second race, that it's actually nice because there's any one of the top 7, I would say, can actually walk away with the championship overall at the end of the day.
Yeah, you took my lines there, Richard. I mean, maybe you're vying for my commentary spot there, but yeah, definitely well said.
I'm working on my English. I'm Afrikaans boykie, so the English doesn't come. My airtime gets finished here by 10 o'clock and it's already 11. I need to top up on my English again.
Well, I thought you did a great job there, but Richard, honestly, it was a fantastic performance from you. It was perfectly executed. You've got your second win of the season. You're back on top of the championship as well. So congratulations to you, and look forward to seeing how you get on next week.
Thank you very much. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for, like Panic Potato say, thank you for the commentating. I think you guys are doing an awesome job, and also for the league and the community that decided that we're going to pay tribute to some of the loved ones that was lost. So that was my first after 5 years in sim racing. I think it's a very, very good gesture. Condolences to the families. So I really enjoyed that. I lost my father last year. So this race also meant a lot to me. So yeah, I'm very glad overall. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Richard, and some very, very kind words there, and yeah, I reiterate, so many of us have lost loved ones, and it was a tribute to MGR Dino and MGR Rusty and Puma Racing GTR as well. However, that tribute really for anyone that is out there that have lost loved ones in more recent times. Yeah, very, very nice words there, Richard. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Richard. Take care. Bye bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Richard.
Cheers.
Okay, right. Well, we have kind of mentioned what's coming up for next week, but let's just give you a recap on what's coming up on Monday, July the 21st. So we are, of course, at Autopolis in Asia, Japan for the very first time. This circuit features 17 turns in an anti-clockwise direction and 4.6 kilometers track length. Famous for its Super GT routes in a very challenging, very technical circuit where the drivers will need to be on full alert. Concentration levels will need to be in check as well. And I would imagine this is a circuit where qualifying is at the utmost importance. So definitely check in next week, Monday, July the 21st, for round 7 of the MSA Cup. And of course, we are driving the Nissan GTR 2018 car for the second and final time. I've never heard of the GTR nickname as Godzilla, but I do know it is a higher performance sports car. Definitely one of my favourite Group 3 cars because it's very nimble, good acceleration, good speed overall. Certainly the drivers, now that they've got used to the car at Dragon Trail Seaside, they will need to adapt it to Autopolis. So certainly look forward to seeing how they get on, especially if there's some rain involved. Okay, and of course we are sponsored, of course, by simulatorcave.com, our official sponsor for the MSA Cup 2025, the haven for all your sim racing requirements in South Africa. And also, I've clicked on the wrong one. It is that one. TGSC Cape Town Golf Academy, the hotbed of nurturing talented golfers to reach full greatness. Now, as most of you should be aware, from this point forward, tiers are now officially locked in place. Drivers will be fighting tooth and nail for every position for as many points as possible, battling for your tier championship, with the top 3 from each tier receiving a special prize come the end of the season. More details will be revealed towards the back end of the season, but best of luck, of course, to all the drivers. Now, please subscribe to our socials at Motorsport Association on all our platforms. It's Facebook, Instagram, our growing community on Discord, and of course this very channel on YouTube. Make sure, if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button, click in the bell notification so you don't miss any of our content, and when you're done watching, hit the like button to help with the YouTube algorithm so it spreads our content across the platform. We always appreciate you. If you would like to get in contact with our MSA GT7 promoter Robin Williams for further details, the email links will be in the description below and on our YouTube homepage. Of course, a big thank you goes to the SMA Productions and the SMA admin for all their tireless work, whether it's in our Discord, answering all them difficult questions for all the drivers and people wanting to know about future championships as well. But they do an absolute fantastic job, and we will need them for the rest of the season. And definitely big thank you to all the moderators we've got in chat as well, that do a great job in controlling all of these wild people in chat. Yeah, thank you for all the hard work that you put in. But yeah, I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so McNulty, first race of the season for you, and unfortunately the only race of the season for you. I'm actually quite sad that you can't continue with me for the rest of this MSA Cup competition, but I've got to ask you though, have you enjoyed yourself? What did you think of our races here in SMA, and who is your driver of the day as well?
Well, let me start by saying thank you again for allowing me to share the commentator booth with you. Thoughts about the race: wall-to-wall action, so much evolving strategy, different pit windows, different tire combinations. Chef's kiss to the race director for making such a thrilling race for us to sit in the booth and talk about. The driver of the day for me, it may seem like a mundane pick, but I got to give it to VSR Richard, not just because of the wire to wire win. He also decided to use those soft tires. Now that's a strategy that I did a little bit of testing with. I didn't think that anybody would be willing to risk it, but he did, and he made it pay off beautifully.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good call. I mean, it was the most obvious driver, pretty much faultless race, made his strategy work. Of course, you mentioned about the one of only a couple of drivers that did the two-stop strategy. So yeah, worked to perfection. Really thoroughly deserved his race win. In terms of my driver of the day, I'm actually going to give it to VSR JDJ though, because JDJ, no fault of his own, but caught up in the melee that happened on lap 1, sunk down so many positions at the start, but to able to claw his way back to 4th position at the end of the race, I think is no easy feat in the slightest. So yeah, JDJ for me, I think, but of course VSR Richard, fully agree with your driver of the day, because it was a fantastic performance from him. Be interesting to see in chat as well if you've got a particular driver of the day, but as I wait for any responses in chat, McNulty, I've got to say a huge thank you for your company today. I'm glad you enjoyed the race today, because there's never a dull moment in the SMA, but it's time to really show people what you do, because you of course are a YouTuber, and I'm also a commentator for one of your series. But for those that obviously don't know you, McNulty, tell us about your channel, where to find you, and what kind of content you've got coming up in the near future.
Yeah, so I am a Gran Turismo enthusiast, just like a lot of people watching the stream, and yourself, Flawed. I have a YouTube channel at youtube.com/@McNaughty, where I do daily races. I host events with some of my partners in the community, as well as I'm the admin and commissioner of my own series, the Naughty Racing League. I do dailies a couple times a week, and league races on most weekends, and just have a good time playing the game and creating a vibe.
Creating a vibe, you certainly do, McNulty, and it was good to see you in that endurance race on the weekend as well. I thought you did fantastic. I thought it was down to my tutelage of being the race engineer in the background, so I'm definitely
very much so
taking some credit there. but no, you did fantastically well in that race, mate. It was definitely a very, very competent driver for sure. And I actually, so for those that don't know, I'm the commentator for Naughty's Racing League, which is, I can't wait for season 6. I do believe it's coming soon, is it, Naughty?
This fall. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about timing. We keep things a little bit tight, but yes, you guys can expect to hear Flawed along with a very talented group of hosts to support him. We run the series 2 days a week over the course of approximately 5 or 6 weeks, twice a year. With some of the fastest GT7 drivers around. So if any of you enthusiasts and supporters of the MSA Cup want to get your toes wet in another series, feel free to come on over and join us as well.
I was trying to get some secret information out of him, but it just didn't work, I'll keep trying. But definitely hit that subscribe button for McNulty Gaming's YouTube channel, and definitely check out his amazing content. Look out for the NRL, which is definitely not to be missed. And I highly recommend him to you all. So no excuses. Hit that subscribe button, get involved in his channel, and support this fantastic YouTuber. But McNulty, I'm probably going to have to cut you short there. But thank you so much for your time, and thank you for such amazing commentary as well. It's been a real pleasure.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you so much, Flawed.
Thank you, McNulty. Thank you. Okay. So it was VSR Richard who romped home to become the winner in round 6 of the MSA Cup, as the championship really does start to hot up very close at the top. But what surprises will we have in store for the next round at Autopolis? Well, you will have to wait and find out till next week. So make sure you tune in to this very channel on YouTube at the Sim Motorsport Association for Monday the 21st of July at 8:40 p.m. Eastern Africa time. But from everyone in the MSA and the SMA production team, a huge thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. I've been your main host, Flawed Genius Gaming, so stay safe out there, have a fantastic week, and it's a bye-bye for now. SMA, growing the sport together.